There was a former Nole FSU quarterback that gave some comments on Mike Norvell and play calling. This was EJ Manuel on the College Game Day podcast and gave his take when asked about Mike Norvell and should he continue being the pure play caller for Florida State. And he's of the opinion of him continuing to call plays for Florida State. He says, I don't think he should give up calling plays because if you think of two seasons ago when Florida State got back to winning 10 plus games, I think they won the bowl game over Oklahoma. Coach Norvell was calling plays that year. Before that, it was Kenny Dillingham, who is now the head coach at Arizona State, having a great year as well. Got into, the truth of things, though, having Jordan Travis on the team, helping out that offense so much, saying, but I felt like Coach Norvell and Jordan Travis, and I mentioned Jordan Travis because he had a dude at quarterback. He had an eraser, a guy that can make those plays. They were on the same page. But for whatever reason, it just seemed like there was no telepathy between Coach Norvell and DJU or even those two other young quarterbacks this season. So I would say no. I think that would be an overreaction. In fact, yeah, you can hire a coordinator, but I still believe in Coach Norvell's ability to call plays because he's called good plays. Guys have dropped balls and guys have not made throws. That's ultimately what it's come down to is execution. Let's see what VZ's take is here first.
I take it.
Agreeing.
Yeah, because how many times have we seen a wide receiver screen go for no gain this year?
Mm-hmm.
And it just keeps happening. And granted, a lot of it is due to how poor the offensive line is playing. And there's only so many things you can call when the offensive line is that bad. But we've said it a lot over the last few months that the offense is boring. There's no innovation. There's some lack of there's some lack of execution, but there's also just, a lot of being bland and a lot of being predictable. So I've made my case that I think they should get someone else in, even if it's just to bring some fresh ideas. But like I've said the last few weeks, even last year, I didn't love the play calling, and that team won 13 games. So I would like to see them upgrade there.
Well, I think EJ's a smart guy because I've kind of echoed some of those same sentiments over the last couple of weeks. I don't think Florida State and Mike Norvell.
So you think you're smart. So yeah, EJ Manuel's smart guy. So then you're like, and then I also echo the same.
Just because he has my opinion. But I've said the same thing. I don't think that Florida State and Mike Norvell should necessarily give up on him as a play caller because of one bad season due to what we've seen in the past. And, there were some frustrating moments during that 2023 season, but you look at what they've done the last 2 years and then also what Norvell's track record goes back to at Memphis and his time before that. Historically, he's been a very good play caller. He's fielded productive offenses. He's gotten guys to the NFL. This year, everything has obviously gone wrong from a play calling standpoint, from an execution standpoint. The players that you have out on the field running that offense, nothing has worked out. But like EJ Manuel said, I don't think that FSU has to necessarily overreact to make that change. We've heard Mike Norvell talk about in these press conferences, he's going to evaluate it and make that decision. And with some of these potential offensive coordinator candidates that we've heard, it seems like Florida State is exploring, the possibility of Mike Norvell handing over those play calling duties to that potential hire. So we'll see how it works out. I think all options are on the table, but at the very least, I think it's a good sign that FSU's head coach is willing to adapt to that change if he thinks it's the best outcome for the program.
Well, he says he is. Just because he's giving some coach speak in a press conference doesn't mean he actually means it.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I'm in the mix of both here because I think there is points that execution was shitty this year. There's a lot of bad execution, a lot of different ways all around. We've named plenty. I don't really want to go back into it. We're going to see it again on Saturday. We're going to see it one more time in that UF game. But yes, there's bad execution where there's probably some potential for more of those explosive plays, and there definitely were. There was chances for that. But I do think there does have to be a change because I think the offense has gone stale. I think defensive coordinators understand what Mike Norvell is trying to do, definitely when he's limited at the quarterback position. I look at other colleges across the country, and definitely when teams, they lose their quarterback early or they're out for the game, but still that offense is still able to work. It's able to show life. There's actual life there, and there's no life even behind your two younger quarterbacks and Croman Hawk and Glenn. There's just nothing there. It's just so predictable. And I think there's got to be a certain change on the philosophy and innovation of Mike Norvell's offense, because it can't just be the same of what what you had in the years past, or even what you had in the undefeated regular season with Jordan Travis, guys like Trey Benson, Johnny Wilson, Keon Kellman saving you on desperate third downs. You can't rely on that all the time, and they're not going to be able to rely on it in 2025 either. Whenever we talk about this transfer portal and the quarterback future.
It's just you don't end up dead last in scoring offense and third to last in offensive yardage output just with lack of execution. A lot of that is play calling as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that O-line's just so bad though, man.
Oh no, correct.
Like they ruin.
Trust me, I'm totally with you there. I'm totally with you there. But again, dead last in all of FBS. That's come on.
I definitely think there are some areas where Norvell has to look himself in the mirror because, like we mentioned with some of those wide receiver screens, it's the personnel out there at the end of the day or the situation. We think back to the one, I can't remember if it was the Cal game or the Memphis game, but you've got Ja'Kai Douglas out there trying to block for Jaylen Brown. It just doesn't feel like you're putting your players in the right position for success in some of those scenarios. So that is something that Florida State, they're going to need to address and figure out quickly this offseason to use the pieces that they have the way they are meant to be used. Ja'Kai Douglas, he shouldn't be the primary blocker on any play.
No, it should be your bigger guys and Kentron, Darion. If you can't fully have full consistency of them catching either, utilize them in the friggin' blocking, man. That's a thing where I don't think the personnel usage, like you were just saying there, Dustin, it was atrocious this season. It was atrocious all throughout. And, now he's owning up to it in press conferences as much as he can. But yeah, it's the way that you're utilizing some of your talent just didn't work. And also, too, it goes into coaching, and nobody wanted to block worth a damn anyways. So both on the offensive line and wide receiver room.